All right, all right, all right. Good morning, Bravehearts, and good morning, Garfield, New Jerusalem. Welcome back to Marv in the Morning. It's episode 13, baby. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you give a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that notification bell to stay up to date. I'm feeling mondo righteous this morning, and I hope you are as well. Welcome back, welcome back. Hey. Yes, indeed. Welcome back. How's everybody doing out there? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Listen, guys. Listen good. We have the description below where you can find the Discord link if you want to send me episodes. If you want to... Am I on the wrong thing? Let's see. There you go. I was just like... how come it's not going live on my telephone? But it just went live on my telephone. So we in here. Bravery up. So yeah, guys, indeed. If you want to submit your podcast to me, if you want me to check it out, give it a review, join the Discord, hop in there, share the link with me, throw some episodes in there. I'll give you a review live here on Marv in the Morning. And shout out to Jeps in the chat. Said, hey, drinking coffee and dropping gems. That's what we do here, Marv in the Morning. Drink coffee and drop gems. Yeah, that's it. Hey, I gotta put that on a shirt. I hope Jeff doesn't ask for compensation for that. But yes, indeed, bravery up. Yo, we got David in here. He says, "Good morning, Vietnam." Yeah. I'm definitely trying to channel that Robin Williams energy. You know, it's funny. I've never seen that movie, but I've seen that clip at least a bazillion times. Never seen the movie. Maybe that's what I got to do this weekend. Maybe I need to watch Good Morning Vietnam this morning, because definitely, I'm trying to channel that Robin Williams energy. I don't think I come close. I have neighbors in this building. I don't know who's here early in the morning, so I don't want to yell too much or make too much noise. I can imagine them complaining about me already. There's definitely a clothing store beneath me and a manufacturing thing above me. And this is an industrial building, so I don't want to make too much noise, especially not on the weekdays when they're all here. I have the weekends, I have the building to myself, but another story. But yeah, guys, if you're looking to start a podcast, look no further. Bravery Studios is the place to do it. We do the editing, the uploading, the releasing, thumbnails, graphics, logos, all that jazz is done here in Bravery Studios. We make it as simple as possible for everyone to just come and speak their mind. Let us handle the rest. You speak your truth and let us handle the rest. Take that weight off your shoulders. Don't let yourself become overwhelmed by the processes of podcasting. Let us do it for you. That's what we're here for. That's what we do 24/7. I have no other job but this. My only purpose in life is to make your podcast. That's it. Production. I am here for you. I am your guy. So if you want to start a podcast, Bravery Studios is the place to do it if you're in the tri-state area. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Delaware. Actually, that's like the Cinco state area. I don't know. Delaware and Pennsylvania count as tri-state. Probably not. But hey, who just come anyway. Hey, Rhode Island even as well. If you're coming down from Providence, pass by Bravery Studios. Jeps is in the building. Drinking coffee and dropping gems. Shout out to Jeps for the... Yo, Jeps, you're really good with catchphrases. You're really good with catchphrases, brother. You should make t-shirts with just stuff on it. Yeah, t-shirts with stuff on it. Definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the daily shout-out. The shout-out of the day. And this one, whoops, my chain is stuck on my microphone. I got like this anchor chain. It just hooked right onto my microphone there. But ladies and gentlemen, the daily shout out today goes to my brother, my Wolfpack brother, who I just passed in the hallways of Bravery Studios, Mr. Will White, the savant himself. This man is a jack of all trades, and they say that you can't do it all. You got to focus on one thing, but Will is definitely Mr. Do It All. This guy can sing, this guy can dance, this guy can play every instrument, this guy can cook, this guy can entertain, DJ, host, all that jazz. Will is a savant, baby, and I love having him here in Bravery Studios. He's in the building with us on a daily basis, and listen, before, maybe about a year ago, this guy, Marv, the producer, was flying solo over here in Bravery Studios. We didn't have other people here collaborating and working with us. It was just a one-man show. And Steve hopped in, Steve has been a blessing. I love that. That guy's my bro too. And Steve brought Matt. Matt is also a blessing. Matt is like the what do I call him? He's the noble wolf of Bravery Studios for sure. And then we have Will, the jack of all trades. Matt brought Will into the building, and it's been a happy family ever since. Listen, man, it's been a happy family ever since. And Will's always doing events. He's always got something up his sleeve that he's working on. Listen, follow this man. Here's his Instagram. I don't know if that was supposed to rhyme or not, but hey, I don't know why my keybinds aren't. Oh, I know why my keybinds aren't working. There you go. Could that be it? Nope, that's not it either. But yeah, here's his Instagram. Follow this man. This guy is a legend, man. I went to high school with this guy. He's been talented as jazz ever since high school, like all the way back. Forming the podcast Voltron. That's what we do here in Bravery Studios. We form Voltron. That's our favorite thing to do, actually. Our favorite thing to do. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you follow Will White, legendary man himself. I love that guy. When I have something I need to speak to someone about, when I need a voice of reason, or when I'm going through anything, Will's the guy I woke up to and like, well, you got a second, man? Can I talk to you about something? Always enlightens me. Always provides positive feedback, constructive criticism if necessary. Like I said, love the guy. Make sure you follow him. Will White on Instagram. He has a couple other pages as well that you can find there through his main Instagram. And yeah, follow the Bravery Wolfpack. We were actually discussing whether or not we should actually, as a group, do a podcast together. Me, Steve, Will, and Matt. And that might be up the pipeline. Maybe that'll be coming soon because we definitely have enough conversations here that I'm like, man, we should have recorded this. We should have done this in the podcast room. So, yeah, so we have been playing with that idea. So who knows? Maybe somewhere down the pipeline, if we find free time, at least on a weekly basis, to wrap something up in a package and deliver it to you. Speak about maybe our projects that we're working on and our goals and all that jazz. So hopefully we can get something like that started. That would be Mondo Righteous. Yeah, man. I also want to give a side shout out to Jason Enrique from First Class Second Place podcast. He actually just released the Joe Bonango interview in video form. Pardon me. He recently released it in video form. Previously, it was only audio form, and he just started doing video, which I'm very proud of him for. And he's killing it on YouTube. And yeah, a legend, Joe. I mean, this guy is a Garfield hero. So like I told him, when I had like a little issue with like the city, I had that video playing when the fire inspectors came in, and they were like, "Whoa, that's Joe up there." Yeah, like that was here, dude. That was here. So you know, they ended up loving the place. They stared at the video for probably like 20 minutes, like, wow. So shout out to Joe. Definitely put me in the good graces of the powers that be here in Garfield, New Jerusalem. So yeah, man. Shout out to Joe. Shout out to Jason. Jason has been on fire. I tell everybody all the time, the guy is a networking powerhouse, a juggernaut of networking. So I'm gonna give a shout out to him. You're probably gonna be hearing his name on a weekly basis on this show, which I think you have already. I think you have. The interview's up there too on Bravery Studios YouTube channel if you want to check that out. I don't know if I'm ever going to do audio platforms for what I'm doing, only because I want to keep the workload light. I mean, I am running a business. I am recording 20 podcasts weekly here in Bravery Studios. I don't want to, like I've discussed before on this show, I don't want to make this more than 2 hours of work on a daily basis. So I don't want to stretch myself thin, overextend myself. You know what I mean? So maybe we have interns coming in soon. We have a whole new batch of interns coming in. So maybe when they get in the building, that'll be part of their workload. We'll see. But definitely shout out to Will White. Shout out to Jason Enrique. The bros of Bravery. Maybe that'd be the name of the podcast. Somebody hit a ding sound effect for me, please. Yeah, man. Forming podcast Voltron, or we could just call it podcast Voltron. People were like, well, they're not really discussing Voltron on this podcast. And like I said last episode, you don't want to be too clever or mysterious with your podcast title. Make it clear and understandable about what this podcast is about. Yes, indeed. But let's get into the meat and potatoes. How to develop your podcast niche. How to develop your podcast niche, right? So, listen, this was the first episode I did. I said, what was the most important thing you need before starting a podcast? Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you'll be up to date every time we go live here on Bravery Studios. But yeah, podcasting niche. I said it was the number one thing you need before starting a podcast. But hey, Marv, you didn't really go that deep into it. You can kind of do like a whole series just on niches alone. And I agree. You can absolutely spend an entire show. You can create a whole series about how to find it. I mean, this is not just a simple thing where you're like, oh, I found it. Nope. You got to do a little bit of digging. It's a treasure map. It's like the One Piece anime. You know what I mean? Everybody's looking for that certain niche to stand out amongst the crowd of podcasts out there. So I want to dig a little bit deeper today. I want to dig a little bit deeper today. Why you need a niche? Why do you even need a niche? Well, if you didn't watch the first episode of Marv in the Morning, you need to have an expertise in something. You can't have a general topics podcast, or you can, but it'll be a lot harder to grow. You know, it'll be a lot easier to find you if you specifically target an audience similar to yourself. You want to narrow in as much as possible. So if you're doing a podcast about makeup, then you need to narrow that down by saying, okay, this is a podcast about makeup for Asian women that are pregnant or something like that. You know, you want to narrow in as much as possible and specify, and you want to target that audience. You want to make sure that you're speaking to them directly. You don't want to venture off into a whole bunch of different other topics because it'll make it harder to find you online through search engine optimizations. You want to definitely use keywords. You want to target. You want to be like Hawkeye from the Avengers with your niche, right? Okay. So number one thing you need to develop your podcast. This is a big one. It's a big one. Pick something that you love. All right. I have a love for a lot of pop culture things, or a lot of hobbies, or a lot of video games and all that jazz. You want to definitely pick something that you love, that you're passionate about, that it'll be, you know, exuded in what you say on this show, on what you do on this show, your topics, all that jazz. Let me take off the headphones real quick. Pick something that you love. If you love it, you can speak about it for hours. That's a fact. That is a fact. We spoke last episode about, hey, what if you picked the wrong niche? You pick something that you didn't love, that you can't speak about for hours, that you can't, have a whole year-long series about. If you love it, you can speak about it for hours. You can defend yourself in the topic. You can not get bored by it. That's probably the biggest one. And that's another reason why people say, I don't want to put myself in a box, because I could get bored of speaking about the same topic every week. But if you love it, you will not get bored of it. If it was me, I'm definitely a gamer. I'm definitely an FGC gamer, fighting game community gamer. That means fighting games as in Street Fighter, Tekken, Soul Calibur, all that jazz, right? Those are things that I love. Those are things that I love watching videos about as well. Those are things that I can speak about for hours. I absolutely do not get bored of watching fighting game videos, seeing tournaments, all that jazz that goes into the FGC, the fighting game community in video games. Literally, I can do that for hours. I can do that for a year. I can do that forever, honestly. And if I was to start a podcast with maybe, let's see if I can get, we're trying to get Clev and Johnny Phrase to start a podcast with us. That's most likely what we would do. Me, Steve, Clev, and Johnny. And that's probably what I would pick, honestly, if I was to do it. But I love it. I can speak about it for hours. I don't get bored. Speaking about this topic because I love it. I absolutely could see myself waking up one morning and spending the entire day speaking about it. That's just how it is when you love a topic so much. If you love Star Wars, you can speak about Star Wars all day. If you love Kim Kardashian, you most likely can speak about Kim Kardashian all day. Makeup, hot sauce, all that jazz. You can do it all. You just have to love what you're speaking about. Pick something that you love. Yes, Scarlett. Shout out to Scarlett. Pick something that you love. Scarlett could do a nice podcast about artwork and all that jazz. So actually, she can do it about a lot of things. Scarlett is a multi-talented person. definitely pick something that you love. I love this thing. I want to hug it. I want to throw it in the air and catch it, man. Like, that's how much I love Star Wars. If you do doing a Star Wars podcast, the second thing, the second way to develop your niche, concentrate on your strengths. Concentrate on your strengths. Concentrate. What are your strengths as far as a podcast goes, right? If you are a good speaker, if you're a good moderator, if you're doing this in a group, then you want to definitely concentrate on that. Concentrate also on how your strengths apply to your niche, right? As far as pretty much what part of this community or this topic you feel as strong in, that you feel like you can speak about for hours, you can defend yourself entirely with, right? So pretty much, I don't know how do we say this as far as fighting games go. Let me try to put this in as if it was myself speaking about this general topic, right? If you're concentrating on your strengths when it comes to like a fighting game, let's see. Concentrating on your strengths. If you have more than one interest in this general area and you're not selecting something that pretty much is where you feel the strongest in this topic, you want to avoid it. You want to avoid something you're not that familiar with in this topic, because even though I love fighting games, there are some corners of it where I'm not as strong. So I don't know about like frame data. I don't know about character specific, about matchups and things of that nature. I wouldn't be as strong speaking about those sort of things as someone else would be, right? And this might sound like hieroglyphics to someone that's not in the fighting game scene. I know this is a video game thing. This is a very particular thing. But I'm not that strong speaking about the little minute details of a fighting video game. I'm not that strong speaking about it. So I would concentrate more on what I am strong with. What am I strong with when it comes to this sort of scene, this sort of community? I'm strong with discussing the visuals, the artwork, the music, the character roster. That's where my strengths lie. I am definitely a visual person. I'm an artistic person. I do not know the mathematics of what goes into a video game, but I do know the art. I do know the way it makes me feel when I see beautiful artwork in a video game or something like that. So if I was to speak about something in the fighting game community, I would probably narrow it down even more by discussing it in a sense of like, this is the art of a fighting game, the art. Now, if you might be thinking, if you're not into video games, hey, it's a fighting game, what kind of art is it going to have, right? Well, how artistic can it get? You'd be surprised. You'll be very, 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 very surprised how artistic fighting games can be. Each fighting game is like is like a piece of art itself. Some of them are very music heavy based. If you play Street Fighter Third Strike, it's very hip hop based. If you play Tekken, it's a lot of rave music. If you we're becoming a video game episode if we keep going like this. But yeah, you know, specifically just focus on your strengths in that general niche, in that topic, right? If you're Star Wars, maybe you want to say, I want to focus on the set design and costumes of Star Wars, or the CGI. Now you're narrowing it even more, because you're not just talking about the broad Star Wars, right? I swing my arms too much and I'm bumping into everything on this table. You don't want to just talk about Star Wars. That's a broad, huge topic, right? You want to go to your strengths, concentrate on your strengths. I know the set design. I know how they film this. I know how they design those costumes, how they get the animatronics, the CGI of Star Wars, right? Narrow it in. Focus on your strengths. Focus on what you know, right? Focus on what you know. The next thing, pick something people will enjoy. This is a big one too. This is a super big one. Shout out to Derek. Good morning, Bravehearts. I love how it's becoming the new Good Morning Vietnam. I love it. Not multi-talented, just heavily ADHD influence, I think. But thank you, hon. Yeah, you're welcome, Scarlett. Yes. Shout out to Derek. Shout out to Scarlett. Pick something people will enjoy. Okay, so let's slow it down a little bit, right? Even though you are doing the first two steps here, even though you are kind of like narrowing in and being very specific and having an expertise in a certain area, you want to also pick something people are going to enjoy. So if your podcast is about sneakers, and let's say you're narrowing in by discussing shoelaces of sneakers, You did the homework. You narrowed it in. You're specializing in a certain area when it comes to sneaker collecting. But I don't know if I don't know if talking about shoelaces on sneakers it can be enjoyable to an audience. You did the first two steps. You followed it to a T. If you narrowed it in and you went into shoelaces, but I don't know if you can entertain someone for an hour with that topic. You know what I mean? If you're talking about makeup, but you're like narrowing it in and discussing only makeup that is red, you might have did too good a job. You might have done too good a job with the first two steps that I just laid out for you. You might have done too good of a job. Too good of a job. You definitely have to pick something that you know people can enjoy, people can listen to, people can watch for an hour. You also want to be funny. Like I could get up here, right, and I could just be the monotone um, professor in college and give you the spiel, bullet points version of everything I do here on a daily, right? I could just lay it out. I could just say concentrate on your strengths, pick something you love, pick something people will enjoy, and yes, you must follow these steps in the curriculum to achieve success in podcasting. I could definitely do that, right? But no, I gotta be entertaining. I gotta entertain people. I don't know if I'd have all you guys watching right now if I was just a monotone, whatchamacallit, right? If I was the professor in college, and you guys might not be as entertained. There's other videos that you can watch that give you podcasting tips. But I hope you're watching just because I'm a little bit entertaining, hopefully. But pick something you can enjoy that people will enjoy, right? Pick something that people will enjoy. Entertain them. I think I had a podcast here yesterday, and it was their first time recording here, and yeah, they were going in on finances. They were saying a lot of amazing stuff on that show, but I feel like they kind of just laid it out bullet point style and very monotonely. And I was like, you guys know each other prior to this interview? They're like, yeah, we're like best friends. And I'm like, you guys gotta have a little more fun with it, I think. Because you have to like think of like the Sesame Street formula. Sesame Street is an educational show, but by golly, is it entertaining to children? Like very entertaining to children with the music, the colors, the characters. Sesame Street. I don't know if it was the first show for like educating youngsters, but yeah, like by golly, does it do an excellent job of like being funny, entertaining, colorful. Music is catchy. Like pick something that people will enjoy and entertain them speaking about this enjoyable topic, right? Pick something enjoyable. Cause yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Sesame Street would work if it was just some guy on a screen. The letter of the day is A, and that's it. And here's how to use it in a sentence. Pick something people will enjoy. People will enjoy. Like I said, you're talking about sneaker shoelaces. I don't know. People will enjoy that for an hour. I don't know if everyone will enjoy that for an hour. The next thing on how to develop your podcast niche is avoid competition. Avoid the competition. If you picked a niche and you went online to YouTube and Googled that niche, and you see another podcast, that has that same niche, and they are on fuego, they're on fire. You may not want to stick to that niche because it seems like these guys got that nailed down, right? These guys have that nailed down. If you see a podcast niche, you Google it. You're like, let me check what else is out there. I'm checking the competition. Okay, there's like 20 podcasts with the same niche. Yeah, you might want to avoid that niche. You might have done the homework on everything. You might have picked something that people will enjoy. You're focusing on your strengths, and you're picking something that you love. But if it's a space that is crowded, you may want to reconsider. Reconsider that. You don't want to go into a crowded space. Reconsider it. Especially if they're hitting all the keywords in your niche, right? So if it's me, it's fighting games, the art of fighting games, And I looked that up, and there's like a ton of them, or there's just one guy that's just absolutely like nailing it. 10,000, over 10,000 subs, follows, likes, all that jazz. Reconsider, and maybe narrow it down even more. Let's see what Derek says here. I listen to Game of Thrones podcasts, and the best are the ones that deep dive into the books and compare the show. It sets them apart from your basic show review. Bingo. Bingo. Yeah, you see, he's doing a podcast that is comparing elements from the book to the show, which a lot of show watchers may not have read the book. So the intrigue is there. Like, let's see what happened in the book, right? Let's see what happened in the book, right? So the intrigue is there. Let me watch this podcast, listen to this podcast that is diving a little bit deeper than your average weekly today's episode of Game of Thrones, yada yada yada, bing bong boom, right? Diving a little deeper. But check the competition. Check for the competition. I would almost guess that now that Game of Thrones is back on TV, we're going to see a lot more Game of Thrones podcasts. And they're going to sprout up. They're going to come out because this is back in popularity again. Starting a Game of Thrones podcast right now, you better stand out. Because I would imagine that is a crowded space. That is a very crowded space. Even when I was doing Twitch and I was live streaming video games, the same applied. You know, a new video game drops, you want to play it on your Twitch channel, you want to live stream it. Hey, that may not be a good idea because I guarantee you, since it's a new game, everyone is playing it. Why would I watch you play it when I could watch someone who's bigger than you play it, who's probably better at it and already has a big following? You know what I mean? You want to definitely, avoid the competition when you're small. When you are teeny tiny, you want to avoid the competition. Okay, and lastly, and this is the fun part. This is where it really gets fun. You want to consider how you can broaden your topic. You're not going to do this immediately. You're not going to consider this immediately. But yeah, as time goes on and you grow, you can start expanding. Now you don't have to be so narrow and so tight with your niche. Now you can broaden out and see how you can introduce more elements to the show, speak about more topics and whatnot. This should actually be in the back of your mind even when you're small and you're growing. This should be in the back of your mind. Consider how you can broaden your topics. Once you get to this point, it's really fun because then you don't have to be so constrictive with what you speak about on the show anymore, right? I watched Joe Budden the other day interview the man who took out Osama bin Laden. I don't know if take out is the right word for it. Or the man who killed Osama bin Laden. Let's be blunt with it, right? I didn't watch the whole thing. Like I said, I'm not really a political person, so I just was intrigued by the fact that Joe Budden has grown to a point now where he can have that kind of interview. That has nothing to do with hip hop. He's a hip hop podcast. Joe Budden Show is a hip hop based podcast, but he broadened it. He was able to expand into another area because he's that big. People are still gonna watch it. His following is now following him. They're not just following his topic. In the beginning, your viewers are only going to be listening because of your topic. But once you get big and once they become part of your community and your family and all that jazz, at that point, you can broaden and your followers will follow you and listeners will listen to you on a different topic. They will. I have a One Piece anime podcast, and it was recently announced that One Piece will be ending soon. They're estimating about 3 years One Piece will end. My One Piece podcast is on fire right now. And when it ends, it's not that they have to end the podcast. Now they can speak about anything. Now they have the following. They can go anywhere with that topic because they built a community that cares enough about them as much as the topic itself, right? Now they can broaden. So how do you consider broadening? What do you introduce to your show? Things that are on parallel lines. Right? The Joe Budden example, it's very far off from the hip hop based topic, right? But if you're just starting to expand, stick to things that are somewhat parallel to what you're already speaking about. Like I mentioned earlier, if I'm speaking about the art of fighting games, now I may want to get into the music of fighting games, right? The music. It's somewhat parallel. It's somewhat close to what I was already speaking about, but it is broadening it. Now I can expand and speak about more topics. Now we're in the music space, not just the visual, but the audio space now. So pick something close. But then, yeah, as you get bigger, broaden it up, widen it up, widen it up there, and that's the way the cookie crumbles, Bravehearts. Thank you for watching today. I hope you took away enough information. I hope I articulated everything well enough. That is probably my biggest fear when I do these things. That, man, am I articulating everything the way it's supposed to be articulated? I hope you guys took away a lot of good information from today. If you're trying to start a podcast, this is it's very vital. The niche part is, I would say, it's there's nothing more important than that. There's nothing. Your success is totally based on your niche, your who you target, what audience. Because even if you aren't that good at podcasting, even if you don't have the best equipment, even if you don't have the best personality, the most entertaining, that stuff you can build. But once you create a podcast, and you target something, it's like you're stuck there now. You may have to start over if you pick the wrong thing. You may have to start over if you didn't specify what your podcast is about. So yeah, this is definitely the most important thing. This makes and breaks podcasting. Ignore the L. That was a typo. I figured as much, Jeff. I was like, damn, Jeff's telling me I took an L today. But yeah, shout out to Jeff. GG's too, my boy. But yeah, once you narrow it down and you pick something entertaining that you're confident in, and you're concentrating on your strengths, and you love it, and you can speak about it for hours and hours and hours at a time. Once you get that nailed down, and your passion is reflected in what you're speaking about, I hope that I come off passionate when I speak about these topics, man, because realistically, man, I love podcasting. Podcasting found me. I didn't create Bravery Studios, but it found me, dragged me into it, and I love this business. I love the world of podcasting. I absolutely love it, and I hope that reflects in the way I speak about it. So when you pick your niche and it's something that you love, your viewers will see the passion in your body, in your body language, the sound of your voice. That's the kind of thing that people attach themselves to. The heart of it, right? The heart of it. Your love, your anger, and all of your sorrow, right? That's what they attach themselves to. Your listeners will know this guy is passionate about this. I'm going to follow him because I see the passion and the fire in his eyes. I see it. I hear it in his voice, the way he exudes about this general topic. If I was a car guy, man, and I was speaking about muscle cars, you would know if I'm passionate about it. You hear these muscle car guys kind of like exude, like, I love the curvatures, the engine roaring, the smell of the gasoline. You hear the passion in their voice, the fire in it. So you know that these guys know what they're talking about. You know it. You hear it. I don't know if there is a more passionate crowd than, well, let's say sports fans. Sports fans are passionate enough to go to war for their team, right? Car guys are a different breed too, though. I swear. You get those, especially muscle car guys. They're like love it. But yeah, guys. I hope you can hear the passion in what we do. Great topic. Niche sets you apart from the crowd, and it's a crowded environment. Bingo, bingo, bingo. And an episode is coming soon about how to feel about the podcasting world being a crowded space. But Derek kind of nailed it in one sentence there. If you have a niche, you don't have to worry about the crowd. You have to worry about other people within your niche. You know, checking for the competition. Check for the competition. You know what I mean? That's all you really need to do when you're considering, well, everyone's starting a podcast. There's a lot of people that are rapping too. Everyone wants to be a rapper when they grow up, right? Or musician. Doesn't mean you have to stop what you're doing. Just means you have to stand out. If Steven Spielberg didn't make Jaws because everybody's making a movie, why am I gonna make a movie for? I'm gonna go to a freaking art school, or I'm gonna become a doctor. Everyone's doing everything. Every space is crowded, especially movies in the 70s. That was a very crowded space. The 70s is when they introduced film schools, and that's why we have a big boom in the, they call it the golden age of Hollywood, because everyone wanted to make a movie in the 70s, and everyone was knocking it out of the park because they just created film school. But yeah, you want to avoid being in a crowded space by narrowing in and targeting your niche. You want to definitely do that. But yeah, Bravehearts, it's been a good one today. I felt really good discussing this episode. Definitely hope that you walked away with some great knowledge. And yeah, man, I love it. I love doing this. Literally, the happiest I've been in a long time by doing this live stream every morning, guys. So yeah, man. Yes, indeed. Yeah, man. Let's go out with some tunes, right? And I gotta figure this system out too for how to do that. Yes, indeed, Bravehearts. We'll be back mañana. I don't know what the topic is for tomorrow yet. I'm not sure what the topic is for tomorrow yet. But as soon as I know, I'll let you know, Bravehearts. But all right, it's been good. It's been real. Stay brave. Concentrate on your strengths. Pick something you love. We'll be back mañana. Peace.